Okay, so Unit 10 review, Part 2. So now we're going to talk about numbers 5 and 6. So we're going to be graphing equations of conic sections, starting with number 5. And if we take a look at number 5 here, we notice that we've got x squared plus y squared equals 121. So to match this up with what I already know, this looks exactly like my equation, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So we have a circle. So I know just by looking at it that it's going to be a circle whose center is at 0, 0. Okay, so I have a center at 0, 0. And my r squared, my radius squared, is equal to 121, which means that my radius must therefore be equal to the square root of 121, which is 11. So noticing that my scale is going by 4s, I'm going to count off to 11 in every direction. So we have 4, 8, and then if I cut this one into fourths, that would be 11, would be right about there. Along the x-axis in the positive direction, 4, 8, and 11 is roughly around there. It can be approximate. 4, 8, 11 in the negative y direction, and 4, 8, 11 in the negative x direction. And then from there I just sketch out a circle, and it's probably not going to be perfect, but as long as I have identified my center and my radius, I should be good. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now moving on to number 6, we have an equation that is y squared equals negative 9x. Well, that looks a lot like y squared equals 4px. Okay, in other words, the equation of a parabola whose vertex is at 0, 0. So 0, 0 for the vertex. So that'll be the first thing that I graph, is the vertex at 0, 0. And then if I really wanted to, I could figure out the focus, which would be p units away from the vertex, by setting 4p equal to negative 9. Now, what this allows me to do, if I solve for p is equal to negative 9 over 4. Okay, so that would be negative 2 1/4. So negative 2 1/4 would be approximately there, so that's my focus. Okay, what this does is it definitely indicates that it's opening to the left, which I could have figured out as soon as I saw that p was negative. That means that it's going to open to the left if it's in the form y squared equals 4px. I know that it must open either left or right, and the fact that p is negative means that it opens to the left. So I know that it's going to open to the left, and now I've verified that graphically because the focus must be inside the parabola. So the last thing I want to do here is just get a couple of points to make sure that I'm graphing in the right place. And since I know it's only to the left, I'm going to pick a negative point, and then I'm going to pick the easiest negative point I can, which would be negative 1. So I'll plug in negative 1 for x, y squared equals negative 9 times negative 1, which would be y squared equals 9. And then in order to solve, I take the square root of both sides, so that means that y must be equal to plus or minus 3. Okay, positive or negative, because I'm taking the square root of both sides. So for x equals negative 1, y is equal to positive 3 and negative 3. Okay, and then I just sketch out my parabola starting at the vertex and kind of curving through in that direction and in that direction. And I'm done. So that takes care of number 5, which turned out to be a circle, and number 6, which turned out to be a parabola.